Hood's sister ship. The crew were anxious to avenge her sunken sister, but she was ordered not to engage. Only the carrier Ark Royal, which did not even have its full complement of aircraft on board, could safely strike at the Bismarck, famously jamming her rudder and preventing her from maneuvering during a series of low-altitude torpedo runs. This would be the death knell of the Bismarck, and in the morning, the home fleet would arrive, and the final battle of the Bismarck would begin. However, before this engagement, another lesser documented battle took place. Destroyers of the Fourth Fleet were ordered to shadow and harass the ship with torpedo runs throughout the night. Piorun paired with the destroyer HMS Maori and spotted the ship just before sunset, making her the first ship to actively spot the Bismarck during the final battle. After reporting her position and confirming that the Bismarck was indeed unmaneuverable, the Maori moved off to begin her torpedo run. But as the Maori looked behind her to see if the Piorun was in position, they saw a horrifying sight and realized that something was deeply, tragically wrong. The Piorun was charging directly towards the Bismarck at full speed. Worried her steering was jammed, Maori broke radio silence and attempted to hail the Piorun, but received no response. On board the Bismarck, the crew, now at battle stations, turned their attention to the small flotilla of British destroyers, and were surprised to see one apparently charging them. In disbelief, they watched as the tiny destroyer turned, showing its full broadside to the Bismarck, and with both its signal lights and its wireless, transmitted the message, "I am a Pole," before it opened fire. For over an hour, the two ships fought mano a mano, pride of the German fleet versus one single Polish destroyer. The Bismarck completely unable to hit the Piorun as it dodged and weaved through fire, ignoring the numerous orders to fall back, all while continuing to broadcast, "I am a Pole," 3 salvos for the honour of Poland, directly at the Bismarck. Her confused crew trying desperately to keep the tiny ship in view as it fired salvo after salvo. And when I mean the Piorun was firing salvos, I mean it was firing all of its guns. The 4.7 inchers, the anti-aircraft guns, even the machine guns were firing. There's even tales of all the crew out on deck, screaming insults and shooting pistols, throwing trash at the Bismarck as they strafed her, at one point even bringing musical instruments onto the deck and singing the national anthem of Poland. Eventually, with the Bismarck's gun throwing great plumes of water over the tiny Piorun at a distance of less than 20 meters away, the ship was finally forced to break off its engagement. It would remain in the area defying orders to return to port until its fuel reserves forced it to finally return home. After the smoke had cleared, post-analytics of the Bismarck's final battle with the home fleet showed that the Bismarck had hit absolutely nothing. In spite of firing almost every shell she had, the only damage reported was HMS Rodney, who had shattered part of her own mainframe from firing her guns at point-blank range. A major contributor to the Bismarck's sluggish performance had been down to crew morale and exhaustion. The entire crew had been on battle alert for nearly 48 hours, and consistent night attacks and harassment had led to the crew just simply not being able to focus. After all, exactly how much sleep can you expect to get when you have an angry Polish warship screaming at you, flashing its lights, throwing trash and singing all night? Piorun would remain in service, operating in the Mediterranean, guarding convoys, and even took part in Operation Halberd, the largest convoy attempt to resupply Malta, the invasion of Sicily, and even the Normandy invasion, engaging remnants of the German surface fleet off the coast of Brittany. After the war, she assisted in the decommissioning of German U-boats before she was returned to the British, where she became HMS Noble and was finally decommissioned in 1955. While in the British retellings of the sinking of the Bismarck, the story of the brave Polish destroyer who took it on single-handed at a time where ships far more powerful than her were afraid to even approach has been assigned to the footnotes of history, its presence and courage overshadowed by the more interesting British exploits. In Poland, it has lived on in legacy. The name Piorun would be reused, with the new ship's naming ceremony inviting survivors of the original ship and even commemorating it on a special coin, proving that the legacy of the ship is still alive and maybe deserves a little bit more recognition. I, for one, feel that the Piorun has earned its place in Stovacor. I mean Valhalla. What did I say? Anyway, something. I need a drink. I hope you learned something. And again, special thanks to